Hi guys, it is Grace with Grace Gets Gastric, and I'm here today to do kind of a NOLA New Orleans vlog slash wrap up of my trip. If you don't know, I recently went to New Orleans and had a really great time, and this is really sort of just for my own records and edification. So if you're not interested in hearing about and or seeing my trip, you don't have to watch, but I thought this would be like a fun way for me to kind of verbally talk about and kind of show what I did so that I can remember. My New Orleans inspired, Mardi Gras inspired eyes. I'm wearing my shirt that I got there, and I'm ready to go. So to start off, why don't we do the not so great part, the stats. So I left for New Orleans on Thursday, March 28th, and I left around like 3 a.m. So my weight that morning was 190.1. So I got back about midnight the night of Monday, April 1st, and this morning, Tuesday, April 2nd, I weighed in at 198.8. So that is a gain in 5 days of 8.6 pounds. It's high. It was not a fun number to see on the scale, and I can feel it, to be honest. I'm not super worried about it. I was for sure in a calorie surplus. Some of that is probably real gain. I didn't eat terribly on the trip, but I definitely ate more sugar and carbs than I normally do in my everyday life. I just ate more in general than I usually do in my everyday life, and I drank a lot, and I don't normally drink. But I had several drinks a day, most of which had sugar of some kind. When I do drink at home, which is rarely, it's usually either like wine or like a vodka water with Mio or something. So I don't want to like downplay that I was not eating great, but also I'm feeling bloated. I've definitely got a lot of water retention. I flew. Flying always kind of makes me bloat, to be honest. Drinking does that, salt does that, carbs do that, humidity, it was very humid there, we walked a lot, I could feel my hands and feet just puffing up. So I'm not too worried about it. We'll see where I'm at in about a week. I wouldn't be surprised if, I'm not at 190 in a week again, but I don't think I'm going to be too far off, and I feel confident about being able to get back on track. Anyways, so the trip. It was really, really fun. I have been to New Orleans once before for Mardi Gras, and I have been wanting to go back. I've been wanting to go back ever since to experience the city without that craziness around it. I could tell that it was a really cool place, and I wanted to kind of have a chance to get to see it without all the crowds and the parades and just a little bit less chaos. And it was great. It was really, really great. It was beautiful. It's a really fun place to see. I would highly recommend it for anyone who hasn't been. The primary purpose was to go and meet up with a bunch of fellow weight loss surgery patients, mostly YouTubers in the community. And if you watched my 2019 goals video, you'll know that one of the things I wanted to accomplish this year was to meet up with some more people within the community. I think meeting people in person is such a different experience to just online. It really kind of solidifies friendships, and it's just really fun to hang out with people who get it. And it was great. I was really nervous. I have mentioned before, I have other online communities where I have made friends. Some of my very best friends are people I've met online, some of whom I've never even met in real life. So it's not like this is my first rodeo, but it's always nerve-wracking regardless, and it's particularly because there were a decent amount of people that were going to be there, but I hadn't met any of them in real life before, and I was also kind of out of everyone the youngest in terms of surgery. So everyone there are people that I had been kind of following for a while, people who I'd followed before I had surgery, but there wasn't really anyone in my class, if you will. So I was kind of nervous about that. I was also, I'm a little bit younger in age-wise as well, though we had people from like the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. It was really cool. But I was pretty sure it was going to be fine. Otherwise, I would not have gone, and it was. It was really great. And I'm so, so glad I went. I almost went to last year's WLSFA in San Antonio and had a hard time making it work. And I did regret, I wish I had just kind of gone for it. And so I'm glad that I did this, and just went for it. Anyways, I got in, kind of mid-afternoon on Thursday and, went straight to where we were staying. There were a couple of us, got a house, you know, an Airbnb together, to save on cost. And it was a really cool house. It was really big and beautiful. And I got like a king size bed to myself, which was sweet. It was such a comfortable bed too. But people were kind of arriving at all different times. So some people had already arrived. Some people didn't arrive until like the next day. But there's like a good group of us. And that first day we did a crawfish boil. And I have never had a crawfish before. They are freaking weird. And Foodie Turned Sleevey, she's from New Orleans, so she kind of showed us how to eat them. It was very disturbing. And I'm super picky, and particularly with seafood, but I had them and they were really good. It was kind of like crab, I guess, in terms of, yeah, texture, taste, and process of eating. But yeah, it was really fun. It was, you know, a good time to do it because like that's something I'd ever order anywhere, for example. So that was really fun. We had a lot of fun eating those. And then that first night we went out to Bourbon Street and had a lot of fun. Like I said, I've been to Bourbon Street before for Mardi Gras, and it was freaking insane. And so I'm really glad we went on a Thursday. It was busy for sure, but not too crazy. So just crazy enough that we had a good time. And we discovered grenades. I don't know if you've ever been to New Orleans Mardi Gras, you'll have heard of the grenade beverage. It's kind of like a pineapple-y drink. It just tastes like juice, but it like gets you fucked up. And they have a skinny version or light version. So I'm sure it still has a decent amount of sugar and carbs, but less than their normal one. So that was cool. All of us bariatric bitches were really excited about that. Everyone was there with their Zip Fizz and hydrating, and yeah, no, it was really, really fun. And then we stayed out pretty late and then headed home. And for the next day, day 2, everyone else got in. I think everyone had arrived kind of by midday on Friday, and we did a swamp tour in the afternoon, which was really cool. I didn't get to do that last time I was there, and I'd really wanted to, and so I was really excited to do it this time. It was so beautiful, just really cool, the different vegetation, plant life, animals. It was really fun. It was really cool to see. So we did a swamp tour, and we ended up going out to eat at this really nice restaurant. I got pork shank. I forgot that it was Lent. It was a Lent Friday, and I had accidentally ate meat, so my bad. But I didn't eat any meat on Thursday, so it's okay, right? Anyways, after that, we went out that night to Frenchman Street, which is near Bourbon Street. It's kind of like at the other end, and it's more focused on kind of like music and bands. It was really packed, but there was a really cool music. There was a band just kind of like playing in the street. And we went to like a reggae bar. And it was one of the people in the group, Chemistry Queenie, it was her birthday, so she got to dance on stage, and it was just like a fun night, and we enjoyed ourselves before heading back home. So day 3, we did a garden district tour in the morning, and that was another thing. I did a few tours last time I was there, but it was all in the French Quarter, so this was perfect. We did a tour of the garden district and got to see just the beautiful homes. I think it's Lafayette 1, one of the cemeteries We got to see where Sandra Bullock lives. We got to see Beyonce's house. Lots of cool things. And then we went to the, there was a meetup. So Dat Dog is where we all met up. Foodie Turned Sleevey had mentioned this. And this is kind of like an official meetup with some other people who lived in the area. So it was really fun to meet all of them as well. And hang out. I didn't get nearly enough pictures, in my opinion, but the food was great, and we got to walk around Magazine Street, do some shopping, get some more coffee, and then we went out. I think that evening we went out to a restaurant somewhere in Bourbon Street, and then we went out on Bourbon again afterwards. We went and got beignets at Du Monde, Café Du Monde, and the beignets were delicious, of course. I had I had just one, honestly, because they come in packs of 3, or you have to order them in orders of 3. So I split with some people and got to see a video of how the beignets were made. And then we went out again on Bourbon, and a little bit more subdued. It was so packed as compared to Thursday. It was like, this was a Saturday night. So I'm really glad that we went on Thursday, because it was still fun, but it was a little bit more fun on the Thursday with just in terms of the amount of people. So crazy how packed it was, just like a random Saturday night. And then we went back home and did brunch the next day. We did like a jazz brunch, so we got to listen to jazz. I ordered milk punch, which was so good, brandy milk punch. Highly recommend. It's so good and rich. It was basically like a meal in and of itself, though, so I honestly only ate like a bite or 2 of my brunch, because it was so filling, because it's made with like heavy cream, but it was bomb. But unfortunately that day was like really gross out. It was really freezing cold and rainy, so we walked around a little bit the French Quarter afterwards. We saw some pralines being made, and did a little bit of like looking around the markets, but it was so cold we ended up going home, and we mostly just kind of like chilled that day and like hung out and chatted. And that was like honestly the focus of the weekend, was really just hanging out with people and talking and getting to know people. So I mean, there was definitely a good amount of activities, but so much of it was really just like hanging out, you know. And then the last day I was there was the next day. That was Monday. I left around 6. My flight was at 6, so I had like the whole day there. So we kind of hung out in the morning, you know, packed. We went and got brunch on Magazine, and then we went to Frenchman again. Not Frenchman. We went to Bourbon Street again to experience it, because it was much nicer that day, kind of in the daytime. Did a little bit of souvenir shopping, did a little bit of day drinking, and just sort of hung out before my flight.
There are blues that you get from sleepless nights, but the blue is blue. All blues I get is every time that my baby comes to mind. The blues my darling sweetie gives to me.
So yeah, I mean, I kind of did like a very quick rundown of all the things. It was, like I said, it was really fun. I knew a couple of people just like obviously from online and chatting, and then there were a couple of people there that like I didn't know at all. And it was really fun to get to know them, and it was exciting to meet new people, and interesting to see like how, you know, we all have this big thing in common, this like weight loss surgery, obviously, right? A history of being fat, and like, but there's just so much nuance to that, right? So many different experiences. So we have some commonalities, but there's also differences. And I mean, I find that stuff fascinating, and it's really fun to have a chance to get to know people outside of that as well, because obviously through YouTube, through Instagram, we get to know each other because we're talking, right? But you get to know what I'm sharing, right? I'm making videos about weight loss, generally speaking, and so that's what I'm talking about. But I've started making videos, you'll know, about other things, and sharing my other interests with you guys, because I know for me, like, I am interested in getting to know all of you as full, rich people, in addition to the weight loss, in addition to the fitness and the nutrition and all of that stuff that we care about, you know. So anyways, kind of rambling on, but I just wanted to do like a little bit of a wrap up, a little bit of a chat. If you guys ever have a chance to meet up with people in real life, I highly recommend it. There are meetups all the time, big ones, small ones, medium ones, grabbing coffee with someone. It's just like a really cool way to connect on a deeper level with people. You know, like there's definitely a new kind of connection that forms when you meet them in person. Anyways, I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope that your last week was as fun as mine was. I hope that maybe you got a little bit more sleep than me, because I am about ready to sleep for the next week. But it was all totally worth it. So anyways, if you liked this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below if you'd like. And if you're not already, subscribe to my channel. I come out with new videos every week. All right, y'all. I think that's everything. I'll talk to you soon.